Ruth, sorry again for the misunderstanding with your father.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah, it's just that I had not seen him in the studio before, and the reason I said I thought I told you to wait in the car was because I mistook him for my Uber driver. I don't know if you know, but the picture they show on the app, it's quite small.
To be honest, I quite enjoyed watching you squirm.
Hi, Ruth.
She never gives me a bloody inch, this one.
Going live in 5, 4.
Welcome back.
Now, as part of our crackdown on crime season, today we're looking at punishment. Yesterday, we heard your views on the return of flogging. But today, is mass imprisonment still good policy? Ruth Duggan joins us to tell us about a very different approach.
That's right, Jenny, because for the last 24 hours, Alan has been wearing an electronic tag. Voluntarily, I should add.
Yes, you should, if you don't mind.
Sorry, wouldn't want to cast you in a bad light.
Yeah, don't do that, we'll get letters.
Yeah, seriously, some people just don't like it.
So, Ruth, tell us about the tag. How does it work?
So, tags allow probation services to monitor compliance with home detention curfews.
Essentially, if you aren't home when you're meant to be, it raises the alarm.
Not quite right.
OK.
The latest tags, like the one you wore, monitor all of an offender's movements 24/7 using GPS.
Right, I see. I thought you told me...
Allowing us to track all their movements in real time or call up anywhere they've been over the last 24 hours.
Wow.
Right. Something civil liberties groups might well take issue with.
Yes. So this is your movement map for the 24 hours that you wore it.
OK.
And we can see that you made a few excursions during the day, starting with a trip to a swimming pool between 10 and 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Put in a few lengths.
Well, we know from the pool's website that it was water aerobics from 10 till 11.
Yes, this week I did do that.
Then there was a visit to Svensson Cosmetic Solutions. Is that a clinic? You were there for an hour just after 2 p.m.
No idea.
Well, we know you were.
No idea.
But it was you who went there. You don't remember?
Nothing.
It was yesterday, Alan.
That's something a probation officer might flag.
Hair clinic?
Likewise, your next stop, a visit to a clothes shop.
Ah, yes. McGovern's of Norwich, Gentlemen's Outfitters. They made me a pair of twill pleated notchback trousers for the Goodwood Revival Festival, which I needed to get fitted with an elastic waist. I'm afraid when it comes to my battle with my waistline, I'm waving the white flag. Not too self-conscious to admit that, which proves I wasn't trying to conceal anything earlier.
You went back and forth to the Gents Outfitters 16 times.
That's correct.
Which, again, a probation officer would query as it might imply illicit activity.
Or even indicate mental health issues.
Could do. I mean, I do 10 Sudokus a week, but yeah, could do.
Well, you can see how it looks odd.
Not really. I went to town to drop my trousers off, then it started raining, so I ran home, and then I remembered I'd driven into town, so I ran back to the car park for my car, but realised I'd left my parking ticket at home. So I went back home to get my parking ticket, but couldn't get in because I left my house keys in the car. So I walked back to the car, got the house keys, walked back home, went in, got the parking ticket, walked back into town for the car and drove it back home. Then McGovern's called to say my trousers were ready. So drove back into town, got the trousers, but I realised I'd left my wallet at home, so I couldn't leave the car park again. Walked home, got my wallet, then walked back to get my car, but I left my car keys at home. So then I walked back to the car and drove home. Then I realised McGovern's had given me the wrong trousers, so I drove back to town, swapped them for the right ones before walking home.
That means you left your car.
Forget the car. I'm not bothered about the car. I was in pain. My scalp was bleeding.
Ruth Duggan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, this one, it's called White Diamond.
Ooh.
Perhaps another one of Kirsty Allsop's bridesmaids.
Did you have a drink before you came on?
It's
try that.
champagne, lime cordial, big slug of Cointreau, white grape juice, and egg white.
Like poached egg?
Oh, no, it's raw.
For God's sake, Rosie.
What?
You can't eat raw egg. It's a raw egg,
No,
Rosie.
it's a common ingredient.
Sorry, just a disclaimer. Please don't try this at home. Rosie's attempted it here, but in controlled conditions with first aiders on hand. Please cook your eggs. Be safe. Be egg safe.
Rosie, let me pick your brain. Because me and my mum, we always go to Queen's for the tennis.
Like this one.
The first cocktail afternoon of the summer. What would you make for that?
It'd have to be a rosemary champagne fizz. So gin, grapefruit and champagne. It's English, it's fun, it's summer.
Those are the new cocktails, but what about the classics? Rosie, what do you think is the most popular cocktail in Britain?
Espresso martini.
Alan, what do you think?
Mine's gone blank. Shandy.
Well, we hit the streets of Nottingham to find out which came out on top.
And we're off.
That was great.
Oh, really, it's okay.
Smells of stuffing. Oh, it's you.
Just to say, I've looked into the annual reports. And it turns out Jenny earns slightly more than you.
Okay.
It's to do with the way the deal is structured. It's an accounting quirk.
Okay.
It's only about £200, but it just means she's higher than you in the list of the BBC's best paid presenters.
Okay.
You okay?
Okay, I'm okay.
So you're in a bit of a pickle. You want more, but you don't want to complain because women have got a bit big for their boots.
Yeah, all right, Lynn, that's for the car, but thanks for the intel. Have a white sparkle.
Okay, places, people.
You like egg, don't you?
And we're back in 5, 4.
So there we have it. The mojito is Britain's favourite cocktail. And Rosie, you're making us one to end the show.
I am. Now, the secret to a good mojito is not to overdo the mint. So, it's lime juice, sugar, a little mint, they're already in the shaker.
Go on, make it then.
And, yes, a handful of ice and a good slug of rum.
Oh, I love rum.
And then you give it a good shake.
Stop looking at me.
Certainly gave that what for.
Would you like to have a go,
No,
Alan?
not me. I never know where to look when I do that sort of thing. It requires a certain kind of confidence that, for whatever reason, I don't have. That's why I don't play the maracas. Give it here. All right.
Stiff.
It's loosening.
Very stiff.
You got it?
All right.
Okay. Take me, take it. I don't know why I did that.
Rosie, thank you very much for joining us. That was great.
It was great. It was really great. What are you doing with my jacket? Sorry for bollocking you before about the raw egg thing. But don't do that again.
Oh, and I believe Simon has an email. Simon. So, drama therapy. It's therapy that uses role play to help people work through difficult or challenging situations.
Well, like therapy, good drama encourages us to look inside. It helps us to understand our own behaviour and deal with emotional issues.
In fact, Simon was telling me earlier that Aristotle coined the term catharsis to describe the healing we experience through drama.
Hubris, nemesis, catharsis.
Well, it's all Greek to me. Thought I'd do the joke this time, seeing as Simon was being a bit serious.
But what kind of problems does drama therapy help to confront?
It's very versatile. Marital strife, workplace disagreements, psychological trauma. Drama therapy is not always easy. It can be very challenging and sometimes tearful, but it should always feel welcoming.
I think you just described the pub quiz I go to. You see, you should be saying this. Catharsis.
Now, I believe we're going to see some drama therapy in action.
That's right, Jenny. Over here, we have two actors, Daniel and Louise. And in a typical therapy situation, they would play out scenarios that couples can try themselves.
Right.
Now, in this scenario, Louise thinks that Daniel is emotionally closed off, but Daniel feels that as he's getting older, he does need more space. Guys?
And you wonder why we never resolve anything. It's because we argue, and then 5 minutes later, you get upset and I have to back down.
No one's saying you have to.
But that's what happens when you play that card.
It's not a card, Daniel. It's how I feel. Just because you're a closed book doesn't mean I have to be.
What am I supposed to say to that?
You should tell her that... Sorry, that's...
No, that's fine. Do you want to jump in?
Oh, me? God, no.
Yeah, no, please do. Step in for Daniel.
No, it's just... I've not acted for quite a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realised you'd acted.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just with North Norfolk players, a bit of acting, producing, directing. Most recently, A Few Good Men.
Oh,
so,
amazing. What part did you play?
The Jack Nicholson role, so
Ooh.
yeah, a bit of a tough act to follow, but I just tried to do it sort of, like the truth. You can't handle the truth. Yeah. So I sort of went higher, and then I did the scoff at the end, which I don't think Nicholson thought of. So.
Well, how would you feel about having a go at this scene?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh, great. OK, Daniel, you step out. Louise, you're in the kitchen, you're making dinner. And Alan, start a conversation when you're ready.
OK.
Don't overthink it.
OK, yep, right. Smells good.
It's just spag bowl.
I didn't mean the dinner.
Well, you never normally come in till it's cold. Look, I'm sorry to go on. I just don't want you to feel like I'm complaining because I want to spend time with you.
Hey, baby girl. Just been out on my bike. My motorcycling's important to me. You know that. But you know the best part of the journey? Riding that steel horse back home to you.
Try it without the accent.
Me or her?
You.
OK, but the general direction...
Forget all that. Both of you sit at the table.
OK.
Now, let's just pretend that she's your actual wife.
Yeah. Look, I wish I could spend more time with you.
See, I hear you saying that, but I don't feel it.
Then we'll figure something out, but you're going to have to stop going on at me. I'm sorry if I've got a gift that people enjoy and I find very satisfying. I'm sorry that you don't have that because for some reason God didn't give you any talent.
Shall we stop there?
Yeah, that felt good. Now, mention our American cousins, and most people think weaponry, donuts, racism, and brown paper shopping bags with no handles. What's all that about?
Oh dear, I thought you were having a stroke there. But there's much more to America than that. Time for New SA, our first regular update on the state of the states. We're joined by our very own Ruth Duggan for a segment as American as Mum's apple pie.
I thought you were having
and
a stroke.
who doesn't love Mum's apple pie?
Well, sure I would. I've not met your mum, but I imagine a kind of Nanette Newman type, crimping crusts and cutting out love hearts from excess pastry to plonk on the top of the pie lid.
Something like that. What about your mum's?
Well, I love my mum, but I have to say she made bad pies. And even though she loved me, she managed to make a pie without putting any love into it whatsoever. So, yeah, just, chopped apples, pastry, lots of brown sugar, but, as I say, no love. But, Ruth, I bet you loved your mum's apple pie. First up, police raid a house in Cleveland and find 4 dead men in a septic tank. Not the kind of story anyone likes.
I do, actually. I love anything like that.
Right.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, right. You mean the apple pie. I'm the same, though, Ruth. All the pastry turns into a fat back.
Well, quite. It's been described as a truly gruesome sight.
What?
A vision of hell. Dismembered limbs from as many as...
I think you've got a bit of a delay on the line.
A delay on the line.
Copycat.
So I'll just try and soldier on as best... Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
It's all right. I was just saying the same thing as you said.
I should just try and push on and assume that you can hear... Yep, go ahead, Alan.
No, you go ahead.
Shall
you
I
go
continue?
ahead.
So
you
I'll
go
try-
ahead.
I didn't
You
quite
go
catch-
ahead. It's like trying to have a chat on a webcam with someone in the Philippines. Or bloody anywhere in the world.
Yes, sorry, after you.
Ruth, stop talking. We're starting again. Nod when you get this. Now, Ruth, hello.
Hello.
Good. Do you like your mum's apple pie?
Yes.
And I believe the police have found the remains of 4 dead men in a house in Cleveland.
Yes, that's right.
Well, tell us about it and give us a long answer so we don't have to keep going back and forth.
Now?
Yes, now. I should knock on the side of your box.
Well,
Ignore
as
the
I said,
box thing.
it's a grisly discovery. And while the identities of the men haven't been... Sorry, the side of my box? The owner of the house has been named locally as 51-year-old Brian Crilly, now the subject of a full-scale manhunt.
Well, Ruth, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jenny.
Let you go and enjoy the sunshine.
Too hot for me, I'm afraid.
You back with us next week?
The week after.
See you then.
Bye-bye.